So for those that may not be familiar with our faith tradition, do I explain? We're not really like connoisseurs of great steak restaurants, right?
Right.
Can you explain a little bit what a steak is?
So our congregation, we have a steak is made up of wards, and we have 7 wards in our steak. Each ward is about 300 members, and so maybe a little bit more than that, because our steak is about 2,400 members. And the steak is a geographical area. It's basically the Cortina neighborhood and the Sossaman Estates neighborhood, including Legato.
So as a state president, what are some of what do you do?
I am the ecclesiastical leader for the stake. I hold priesthood keys. I know that's probably a term that's not well understood, but in essence, I am to oversee and the continued growth and development of the members of the stake as it relates to our progress on what we call the covenant path, which is making covenants with God through ordinances of, example, baptism, receiving the Holy Ghost, receiving the priesthood, temple covenants in the endowment, and even sealing in the temple. And then helping stake members to, we say endure to the end, and it makes it sound like, oh, you just got to suffer through it, but really find happiness and joy through keeping those covenants. Enduring really is intended to be a happy, good thing, but to then help them continue on along that covenant path.
I think enduring can mean stay faithful.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like a happier way of saying it.
Good. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about where you grew up, what you were like as a kid.
Yeah, you want to start?
Yeah.
I grew up, I was born in Alaska and lived there till I was about 11, and then we moved to Utah for about a year and a half, and then up to Washington State for the rest of my childhood and adolescence. So near Seattle is where I kind of say I grew up, because that was my junior high school years. What did I do? What was I like as a child?
I don't know, but
you told me.
I bet you were cute.
I was good. I read a lot, played a lot. We didn't have internet. We had a TV, but we didn't have cable, so it was like we just played outside a lot. We played with my brothers and sisters, and we moved around, so I feel like we had friends, but I feel like I was good friends with my brothers and sisters, so we had lots of fun things outside. We were always building forts or, doing things in the woods.
We had lots of bunnies.
We had bunnies, yeah. We played outside a lot, but yeah, I think I was a pretty normal kid, nothing special. I was a good kid.
How about you, President Cardon? Did you grow up?
I was born in Mesa, but then moved still in Mesa, but in the Gilbert School District, so I did everything in Gilbert, including the ward I grew up in was in Gilbert. I'd say pretty similar. I have 7 siblings. It goes girl, girl, boy, boy, girl, girl, boy, boy. So everyone kind of had their buddy. That was really fun.
Did all the buddies get along?
Yeah, we all got along pretty well. Yeah, and we still do. It's a lot of fun, but a lot of family time. But then we were in a great neighborhood with a lot of good friends and other families there. So growing up, I really enjoyed racquetball quite a bit. We played football outside all the time. I guess we did a lot of just sports. I can't imagine. I remember in summers in heat like this, we'd be out playing football in the middle of the day. And now I can't imagine doing that. It just seems so horrible. But yeah, we would do all that growing up.
I know, Aimee, so how do you deal with the heat? I'm from a cooler climate too, and I do not like the heat.
I have to say, it was hard when we first moved here. I think I was miserable for like 4 summers. And then you kind of you get used to it and it doesn't bother you as much. But now I have to say I kind of like it. Not that I love the weather right now, but I do like the sunshine. I like the warmth, and so it's better now. But I was probably in a bad mood for 4 years. I was just like, I hate it here.
That is my memory as well.
It was the weather. I love the people. I love the area. It just was the weather. I was like, who chose to ever come and settle here? But
I think you beat me. I was still in a bad mood and some hiccups from the heat. So,
but I have to say I've gotten used to it, so I like it now.
Yeah. What were you guys like as teenagers?
Oh, you were naughty. No. I think I was a pretty pretty good kid. I was pretty studious. I read a lot. We were talking about this earlier, and I said, I think I was a rule follower, but then I thought, only when I thought the rules were good. If I thought they were dumb rules, I would break them. But I don't know. I always had a job. I ran cross country. I was in band. So I did a lot of extracurricular things that I liked.
Yeah, teenager. I think I was pretty confident, probably more than I should have been. But I did. I again enjoyed sports. I did soccer and pole vaulting in high school.
You went to the lake a lot.
Went to the lake a lot. Loved going to the lake and back then we'd just do slalom skiing and wakeboarding became a thing. But loved the lake. Just going there all the time.
You dated a lot too.
I did like dating. That was a big thing. I remember, the day I turned 16, I went and got my license, and I had a date that night.
Nice.
And it was
Get
just
the top of my voice.
best day ever. And then just kept going. Best day ever. That's not true, but it was a good day.
That was your best day.
Yeah.
You were 16.
But it was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
Okay, so what's the story of how you met and who tells it right? Because
This is a great question.
from my
I gotta tell you.
family.
This is a really good question. I'll let her answer first.
We tell kind of the same story. I think we have different viewpoints on or we like to point out different things that we think are more important than the other person thinks. But okay, so we met. I don't remember what year it was. We met
1996, October.
Okay, that's when we met.
What date? What day though?
It was conference weekend, so it was the first weekend of October.
And I was at BYU, and you were just up at BYU visiting a friend.
I was just visiting.
You were going to ASU at the time, and we met in my sister's apartment. And I just saw you and thought you were kind of intense and didn't think anything else about it.
And I'll just add in little bits. The reason she thought I was intense is because when she walked in the room, everyone else disappeared for me. I was like, and she doesn't believe me, but that is when I knew I would marry her.
Yeah, which is great. I don't know if that was a moment, but I just remember you were staring at me, and I thought, who is this guy, and why is he staring so hard? But I don't think it was. The rest of the semester went by, and then at the next semester you came up to BYU. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
And then we
January.
kind of started to date a little bit, but nothing serious. And so we dated off and on throughout that semester.
Nothing serious because she wouldn't let it get serious.
I just didn't know how I felt about him. I was like, I don't know. So we kind of dated off and on. And then the summer came, and I went home for the summer. And that was the summer that you decided that you were done trying to date me, right?
There's much more to the story, but in summary, yes.
And that was the summer I decided, I think I want to date Craig. Seriously. And so we came back to school the next semester, in the fall semester. And we had a very memorable conversation at the Tanner building. I still remember. And I said, Craig, I think I want to date you, be a boyfriend, girlfriend, be serious, get a more serious relationship. And he looked at me and said, no, sorry, I'm not interested. And he said, and not only that, I'm also dating your roommate. So
There's so much more to this story.
he said, and it's never going to happen. And I was like, wow. He said, it's never going to happen. But it actually turned out to be kind of a really good semester for us. We were in 2 or 3 classes together, and we just got to know each other really well without the weight of dating. We got to be really good friends. We hung out a lot. We studied together.
I'll briefly put my comments in context really quick.
Okay.
I had given her my whole heart and soul in trying to date her, and she had, in my estimation, rebuffed me. And I was like, I can't do this to my heart anymore. So I had to move on.
I did. I was pretty non-committal for a long time. I just kind of strung him along a little bit. So I have to say that was not good on my part. But we still laugh about the fact that he said it's never going to happen between us. It's like, So we got to be really good friends.
Yeah, that next semester was a really good semester.
And then my roommate, you guys were never very serious. You just kind of, you dated a little bit. But
And she wasn't your roommate when I started dating her.
sure,
You
I moved
moved
in with her.
Yeah.
And then she went on study abroad after Christmas. And
That's when we
started dating each
That's
other.
when everything was over.
And then got engaged in April and married in the summer.
Now, a key to all that so I agree with you. A key to all that is there's only one of us who hasn't written down, and that's me. And so for posterity, my version
is the one that counts.
my version is the one that will go on.
I need to write it down. I still think I remember everything.
I
Now
know.
you know for sure you need to.
Yeah.
In case
Yeah.
next time.
I do.
So what is the craziest thing you guys did on a date? Funnest,
You know, I actually looked at that question and I was remember when we went rollerblading and we went
Yeah.
down the hill
And I'd never rollerbladed
And you
before.
never rollerbladed?
And I crashed
And-
so badly.
and all of a sudden she started going too fast. So I was like, get off to the side, and she kind of fell off into the grass.
I do. I remember, and like my knees were all bloody and my hands were all bloody.
Oh, such a horrible. Maybe that's why you didn't like me.
No, that actually was a fun date. I just lost control going down the hill. But we didn't really
Real
do
crazy.
too many crazy dates. We did you guys did really creative dates with your roommates.
Oh, that's right.
Like they did this one date called the Deja Vu date, and where all the couples kind of were separate, going to do different things, but we met together at the end, and it turned out every boy had done the exact same thing throughout the
We
date.
were all dressed the same, even down to a different sock.
We all listened to
We
the
all
same
listened to the
song.
same music on the way over.
We all drove the same route.
We all,
It
the
was
little games we played, like we made pizzas, and you had to do a creative pizza, and we all convinced our date to do the same thing. So then when we pulled them out, they're like all the exact same.
Yeah, you guys do lots of fun dates like that.
Deja vu day.
so how many kids do you have and where are they at now?
We have 6 kids and 1 son-in-law. And our oldest daughter and her husband are in Utah in Bountiful. And our next daughter is in Provo at BYU. And we have a son who returned from his mission in August. He's also at BYU. And our 4th is a son who's on his mission. He's in the MTC in Ghana right now, going to the Ivory Coast. Then we have a 15-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old daughter at home.
That's still.
All right. So what advice would you give to your younger self?
I read that one, and I was trying to think of something, but I guess I was thinking just relax. I was not in like, be lazy, relax, but like I'm a task-oriented person. Check off the box, and it got to the point where like I even would stress out about things, and finally in high school at some point I realized, you know what? If there's something I can do about it, I'll be up at 2 a.m. and I'll be doing it because that just makes me feel better. But if there's nothing I can do about it, then you know what? Let it go and just relax. It's all okay.
Yeah, I think I would have told myself not to worry so much, just to be more confident that things are going to work out. And I think also I would have told myself to be more confident in my testimony and my beliefs. Not that I didn't believe it, but I think I always was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm the most qualified to bear my testimony or to speak about this. But now I would tell myself, just say what you know, say what's true, and don't be afraid to say what you know.
So you do not get paid to be the stake president, correct?
That is correct.
You have a lay ministry, so
Not in money, but certainly blessings. That's
Yeah.
for sure. And I really believe that. There's tremendous blessings.
yeah. So what do you do for work to provide for your family?
So I
What do you
am.
do?
It's funny. My kids ask me that all the time. What do you do again?
People say, what does your dad do? And they're like, we don't know. He works in an office.
So our family, starting with my grandfather, has had a family business where very entrepreneurial and just have different investments that I manage, mostly in real estate. And so that has continued. It's diversified quite a bit, but just every day I go into an office and get to go focus on how do I continue to improve the investments and help them grow.
We joke about it because like you guys own pecan orchard and salt mine and hotels, and
So
so
it's really
my
hard to
kids
say
are like,
what
Dad,
it
what do
is.
you do? And we're like, well, sometimes he's a farmer, sometimes he's an investor,
A gentleman farmer.
Yeah, a gentleman farmer. So we always joke around. We're like, we don't really know what Dad does. He just does stuff.
Every day's different. I love it. And I love who I get to work with. I work with a lot of family, but then we just also have a really small staff that are all just really great people. So
That makes a difference. You
Yeah.
get to work with.
that's good.
Then Aimee, do you work outside of home?
I do a little bit of work. I do it online, and it's very minimal. It's for an organization called Cannabis, and they are a pro-marriage, pro-family organization. And I mostly just do editing. I guess they call me a consultant. I don't know. I edit.
Aren't you also the Arizona representative?
I am the Arizona representative. I don't know if that means very much, but I run a reading group for them too. So we get together, kind of like it's like a little bit like a book club where we read articles that they've put together and discuss. But again, it's very minimal. It's a great job for a mom to have.
I like to point out it's affiliated with Princeton University, so
It is, which makes it sound really great.
prestigious.
So how did you become members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints?
Well, we were both born into the church. Our families were members before we were born.
You know, you said, but then the next thing is, okay, so why continue?
Yeah. I think both of us, I think I can speak for both of us, that there came a point in our lives when we needed to know if this was true for ourselves, and we both took the time and put in the effort to know, and feel like we received the answer that this is the Lord's church and this is what he wants us to be doing. Yeah.
I feel like for me, I've always just felt like faith has been a part of me. And so it's been just a question of, okay, what do I do with that faith? And I just felt inclined to absolutely continue to strive to become more Christ-like. It's really what it comes down to. But and so you think about, when did you become converted? I feel like it just continues to happen as you continue.
Yeah. I feel like I had some real powerful experiences when I was a teenager that really helped me to understand what I believed and why I believed it. But since then, I too felt like it's never been something I've never struggled with my faith, or never, I guess, not that I haven't questioned it, but it hasn't been hard for me to stay faithful. That's, I guess, what I mean. So yeah.
And that was actually my question. Like, what has it inspired you to do?
To continue doing the things that we think that the Savior wants us to do, to follow him, like he says.
Yeah, I often refer to 3 Nephi 27:13, where Christ is talking to his disciples and says, I came into the world to do the will of my Father, because my Father sent me. And I feel like that's a pretty good summary of what we ought to be doing. Christ is our perfect example to understand what is God's will for us and then to do it. And I've just seen time and time again where in my life, I really am most happy when I'm striving to do what God wants me to do.
So we know where you're serving. Where are you serving right now?
Right now, I serve in Relief Society. I teach Relief Society, which for those who aren't members of our church is the women's organization. So I teach about every other month, which isn't a lot. But then I also am over the Activity Day Girls, which are the 7 to 11-year-old girls in our ward. And we get together every other week to do an activity.
Those are fun groups to be a part of.
They are. I really enjoy both those callings. I really enjoy.
So what have been some of your favorite callings to serve in?
Well, we were talking about this, and I said I always want to say whatever calling I'm in is kind of my favorite one, because I really do enjoy all the callings I've had. And I was kind of nervous. I'm always nervous to teach, especially adults. But I have to say I really love teaching Relief Society. I just feel like I gain so much when I prepare the lessons, and then when we have the discussions in class, it's just really wonderful. I also love serving in the youth, or with the youth, with the women. I loved being primary. I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I think all of the callings I've had at the time I've had have been my favorite one.
Yeah,
that's true. I remember. I can't think of a calling I haven't loved and enjoyed. There are some notable things, like when I was gospel doctrine teacher, I did that for almost a full 4 years. So I got to get through all of the books, and that was really fun. I learned a lot. But that really is true. Kind of the calling you're in is probably a favorite calling I really enjoy. I think it's probably odd to say, but I really do enjoy this calling.
So, there's a lot of support that has to come from families.
Yeah.
So, how have you found your balance in your place when?
Yeah, I honestly feel like since our kids have gotten older, it's been a lot easier, because I don't feel like I need as much physical support because they're older. But I feel like Craig is really good about supporting me and supporting our family and doing his calling. You're talented in a lot of ways, but that's one area that you're especially talented in, is that you can kind of manage lots of things at the same time. So I don't ever feel like he's saying, you guys just wait while I do my calling. I feel like he's able to kind of help me where I need the help, and then do your calling at the same time. I also feel like we have lots of extended family around that can help if I need help. And I really feel like we as a family have been super blessed just with your service. I just feel like our needs are met and we're getting extra blessings. So maybe we're not having as many needs. I don't know.
That is really nice of you to say. As you were speaking, I was thinking, how would I answer for her? And I was thinking, I think she just assumes let's just all assume Dad or Craig's not going to be here. So I'm just going to have to figure out how to do it myself. And
The kids are
because she's incredibly capable, able to take on all those things. And but I do preach to all the leaders that I get to work with. Your family is your highest priority. And that's stated in handbooks. I highlight it. I 100% believe it's true. And so I'm very thankful to hear her say that she feels that I have done that, because I've seen that example with my parents, and I absolutely wanted to emulate that and follow that, because it really is important.
Okay, so here's just some general ones, a little fun stuff. What's your favorite vacation?
So Craig would say this weekend with here at home without any kids.
Absolutely true.
He's like, I love it.
I love being home, and I like some time without all the kids around.
Yeah. Well, we think it's funny because we think a vacation is without kids, a trip is with kids.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
A trip vacation. Not we love our kids, but no, I think my favorite vacation, we just got to go pick up our older son from Brazil, and we took our 18-year-old son with us. And that was a really fun trip, just to go to a new place, to see him coming off of his mission, to have the boys together. To me, that was a really, really fun vacation or trip that we went on.
So you just learned, I'm a homebody. She likes to travel.
I like to travel. Yeah, Craig would stay home all the time.
All the time.
Might be coming handy later. One of the other questions. So what is a dream that you have that you're still looking forward to?
You want to go ahead?
No, you tell me.
I am so excited to just be able to be a grandpa that gets to hang out with the grandkids. So that sounds weird, because I really enjoyed this weekend without the kids here. But I really I was just talking to another couple we went and visited them just on Sunday, and they're just living the high life of being grandparents and loving every second of it. He was saying, I'm going to go pick up my son and take him somewhere, or grandson somewhere tomorrow, and it just sounded like a dream.
What is one of your favorite family traditions?
I thought of something.
Okay, what is that?
At the end of family prayer, we do family hug and family kiss, and no one else in my family likes it.
The kids hate it.
No one in my family would either.
Yeah.
Well, they liked it when they were little, and as they've gotten older, they're like, "This is so dumb," but we still make them do it.
Good for you.
That's my tradition.
Secretly, they want.
They do. Well, it's funny because I think our son-in-law likes it the best. He's like, "This is great," so he'll do it with us. The other kids are like, "This is not."
I'm interested to see if any of that tradition continues with any of them.
That'll be
the real tell.
Yeah.
Something we used to do that we kind of haven't done it in a while is when the kids would have a birthday, we would put whoever's birthday it was, we'd get on the bed and we would all just kind of be around them and tell them one thing we loved about them. And that was a really fun tradition. We need to pick that up.
And the favorite statement to begin with, there are so many things to love about this person, but if I had to pick just one.
And then we would all say something we loved about that person. So that was something my family did growing up, and we did it, especially when the kids were little. As they've gotten older, we kind of haven't done it as much, but
They don't like sitting on the middle thing.
yeah, well, they used to get on our bed. Now we would make them sit on this, so it's kind of hard.
All right. So we've been trying to cultivate a steak playlist that's just uplifting music. What's one of your favorite songs that you'd put on it?
I would put "Consider the Lilies" by the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, or the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. Is that what it's called now?
Yeah, I think so.
Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. I love that song. That's just one of my favorite songs. So I would include that.
I would include "Near My God to Thee" by Vocal Point. It starts out with like the Latin kind of thing, and then it gets faster. And my kids sometimes say, "This isn't real church music," but I love it.
It's a good song.
Yeah. So what are some of your strategies for keeping the family connected when older kids are moving out of the house?
Yeah, that's a great question. One thing we do is we try to call all the kids. We do a FaceTime call on Sundays where we can get them all on, or all that are available. So we are all on the same call together. Now that we have a missionary out, when he calls in on his P-Day, we try to get everybody on at the same time, which kind of works. Sometimes the timing's a little bit off, but it's nice to see everybody's faces, and every once in a while we get everybody on the same call. So that's one thing we do.
I've got to give a shout out to our oldest daughter, who is she's a gatherer, and she really instigates a lot of the family talking, and even to the point, sometimes I'll have a business trip in Utah, and I don't tell her about it, or, it's just a one day there and back. and she has our little bubbles or whatever on, from Find My iPhone or whatever. And so I'll get a call as I'm driving by her house on the freeway to go to some meeting north of her, and she's saying, "Why are you by my house and not coming to my house?" But she's just really a nurturer, gatherer, and so really she plays a big role.
She really does. She helps our kids.
Keeping us all together.
I think one of the reasons we sent our 2 daughters up to Utah this weekend was to see their sisters. And so I feel like we really try to facilitate time together, even though they live in different states. We're always looking for chances to get them together, whether it be bring kids home so that they can all be together, or send kids up there, or all of us go up there. We try to do that a lot.
Those are good things. Okay, how have you tried to balance things that kids want to do with family time, especially when they become teenagers and they really like video games and their phones and friends and all the stuff?
Yeah. We have lots of rules, which I know they don't love, but...
Like screen time rules? Stuff like that?
And like where you can have your phone and where you can. And when my boys were home and wanted to play video games, I had a lot of rules for that. I was like, hey, all your chores have to be done, and then you have to do other stuff. But, I made lots of rules as to when they could play and how long they could play. So yeah, I feel like we have lots of rules in place. But our kids, honestly, I feel like to be with each other and like to be with us. So it's never super hard for us to do that. But
we've tried to keep the tradition and even the teaching of, family time, whether it's Sunday or Monday, and just even talk about, are we spending enough time together, at the dinner table or whatever it is. And so it's just been a constant topic of discussion, really, that I would even say we've had family councils about what do we do to make sure and even if really only one person wants to, we'll try and play a game together. We'll try and just, we haven't spent we'll just recognize we haven't spent a lot of time together, so what are we going to do? Let's do something.
Our younger kids don't have social media, the ones that are home, so that's kind of nice because there's not a lot to do on your phone if you don't have social media. So they really don't have a lot they can text, but it's nice that I don't feel like they're as tied to their phones as they could be if they had social media. So that's good. But yeah, we struggle. They'd rather be watching a movie or
hanging out with their friends,
doing something different. So we have to tell them sometimes, no, we're going to do this as a family.
Yeah.
So this one might be kind of hard because nobody really likes seeing that they have failures. But what have you learned from some of your biggest failures in life? You don't have to tell us what they are because I wouldn't want to tell anyone.
Yeah. No, we talked about this because I was laughing thinking I've had lots of failures in my life, but I think I push them down so I don't remember my failures. But I hope I've remembered what I've learned from that, and that is to keep going, to not let a failure stop you, especially in doing what's right. We were kind of talking about how some of our biggest failures have been in parenting. We've done things that we think we wish we wouldn't have done that, or we wish we would have done that better. But what you learn from that is to do better the next time, to try harder, to learn, to say that didn't work out the way I wanted it to, so I'm not going to do that again. And I think just to keep going, just to keep trying.
Yeah, patience and perseverance certainly come to mind. I was telling Aimee before, like right now I'm teaching Siri how to drive. And I finally realized, she's the 5th child I'm teaching to drive, that even though there's a lot of, teaching a kid to drive is never easy on either the parent or the child, it seems, for me. I've learned that is probably one of the times I see my weaknesses highlighted the most, but then also recognize here's a chance where I can work on being better.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of eye-opening to see that. So I see them also, these failures, as opportunities to improve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I think it's hard for us to differentiate between our lessons learned and those things sometimes. Okay, what is your end game? That's a big question.
Yeah.
End game. Stay on the covenant path, keep doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I interpret that to be, what do I want more than anything? And what do I want more than anything is for my family to all be together for eternity, as we talk about. And so, how? Continue to have faith in Jesus Christ and strive to follow. All that's really religious, but that's where it is. That's what it comes down to. So that's my end game. I think that's our end game.
That's our end game, yeah. I agree.
Okay, so here's just some quick fire either or questions. Okay, would you rather do dishes every night or cook every night?
Cook dishes.
No.
Oh, would you rather do dishes?
Sometimes I'm kind of sick of cooking. I really.
Okay, my deal with
I feel bad.
Yeah.
my deal with every companion on my mission was they'll cook, I'll do the dishes, and they all agreed to it.
You know, as a
That was a
mom,
bad
when you
cook.
cook dinner all the time, you're like, I have been cooking dinner for 25 years. I'm so done cooking dinner.
And I have no help.
And I
to
feel a
do
little bit bad for my younger kids because I'm like, I really just don't want to do it as much anymore.
it. But you're really good at it.
Well, that's
She is really good
So
at
I
it.
think I'm at a point in my life where I kind of want to do dishes for a long time, and then maybe I'll feel like making dinner again.
I completely understand. Okay, would you rather have horribly stinky feet but the coolest shoes, or normal feet but only own flip-flops and snow boots?
Oh, totally flip-flops and snow boots.
Normal feet.
I could live in flip-flops, so yeah. And I would hate to have smelly feet.
Pizza or tacos?
Tacos
Ugh.
all
Pizza.
day long. Tacos.
Okay, would you rather have a shack on the beach or a mansion in the middle of nowhere?
That's a hard one. I might say shack on the beach.
I might say mansion, I think.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'd probably say mansion in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
This one might totally not work for our circumstances, but would you rather have an ice cold pool or run a mile in 100 degrees?
I really don't like cold water. So 100 or run a mile at 100 degrees.
I would say the ice cold pool. I don't want to run in 100 degrees. I think I would
1
be
mile.
miserable.
It's over.
100 degrees is awful.
I agree with you. Yeah, 100 degrees is like, yeah. Would you rather be freakishly strong or freakishly fast?
Ooh, freakishly fast.
Strong would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Strong.
that makes sense.
Okay, would you rather have an unlimited clothing budget or the car of your dreams?
Oh, we're gonna be so different on this. The clothing budget all day
Or
long.
my dreams.
Would you rather skydive or run a marathon?
See, I just said running before skydive 100%. I wouldn't want a marathon.
I would run a marathon, even though I don't. Well, as long as it's not 100 degrees, I think I'd run the marathon because I would be terrified of jumping out of a plane.
Way rather jump out.
Yeah, I'd run.
Okay, spend a day in the mountains or on the lake.
Like,
Yeah, I think I'd say lake too.
Be able to fly or be able to breathe underwater.
Ooh, that's
fly.
hard. You can't say. I don't know. I'm kind of torn in between those two. Breathe underwater. Breathe underwater would be really cool.
But how often are you going to use that?
Any body of water you could go in and never worry.
That's true.
Ever.
You can see really cool things.
Yeah, you could. Oh, like down in the
Do you
depths
still
of
hold
the
your
ocean.
nose every day?
I'm not a very good swimmer. We can talk about that. Yeah.
Would you rather go on an African safari or a cruise to Alaska?
African safari.
Cruise to Alaska.
Right? We're not matching up. We can't travel together anymore.
Would you rather live in Narnia or go to school at Hogwarts?
Ooh, go to school at Hogwarts.
Hogwarts.
Okay. Only be able to sing instead of speaking or have to dance everywhere if you walked.
Easy.
I would love to dance everywhere I
Sing.
walked.
I totally want to sing.
That'd be so fun. If no one thought it was weird and you could just dance everywhere,
I always
that
have
would be
been
great.
dancing. Just
So I think you should at least one meeting sing the whole
sing
meeting.
something.
Oh, I think you should.
Okay. If you could only eat one type of food, would you rather have Mexican food for the rest of your life or Italian food?
No, we're gonna be different too. I would say Mexican.
Italian.
Yeah.
I served my mission in Italy. Lived there for 5 years. So.
I don't know if you could ever. Yeah. Sold.
See, that's one of the things I love most about Arizona is the good Mexican food. It is just
And I love Mexican food. I love it.
Okay, so last one. I think I already know the answer to this, but would you rather have a night on the town or a night in?
And I think I would say, well, you know what? It just depends. I think if
A night in.
you're always gonna say night in. I think it depends on my mood. Sometimes I want to stay in, and sometimes I want to go out. So I'm kind of on the fence.
Well, we super appreciate you talking to us. We have one last question that we want to ask everyone that we interview, but what does it mean to you to show up as a follower of Jesus Christ?
For me, and boy, I feel like I say this all the time, but it is to make and keep covenants with God through ordinances like I talked about earlier, and then to help others do the same. But to really focus on becoming more like Jesus Christ and preparing then to return to our Heavenly Father in doing so.
Yeah, I agree. I keep thinking about what it means to be on the covenant path. not only to make those covenants, but to live them every day, and to just live in a way that I feel like I'm abiding in the Lord and He's abiding in me. So I just hope that each day I'm growing a little bit closer to Him, and becoming a little bit more like Him.
Love it. Thank you for spending your time with us.